And we're live? We're live.
Okay. I was like, question mark?
I was waiting for it on the preview screen and it wasn't coming up, but there it is.
Okay, there it is.
Yeah.
Happy to hear that. How's it going, everybody?
Good.
Doing all right. Tired.
Yeah? You tired for fun reasons?
Last week I was. This week I'm just tired.
Oh. Okay.
Last week I started fencing.
Whoa.
Neat.
Wait, were you on the show last week?
Yeah, I started Friday.
Oh, okay. Cool. Yeah, tell us about fencing. What made you want to start fencing?
So it's something I've wanted to do since I was in university. I just never got around to it. And
You have
I
the
was
suit?
like, yeah, they actually give you the suit. Like the lessons were surprisingly cheap. They give you like 5 lessons for like $150, and
That's
that
pretty cheap.
comes with the equipment.
That's crazy.
Now, it's a rental, but then
Yeah.
like eventually they're like, yeah, you're gonna have to buy it eventually if you want to keep
Mhm.
going with
Oh.
it. But yeah, I had my first lesson last week, and God, my legs were tired after that because I completely forgot about the fact that the combat stance in fencing is basically a half squat.
Mm.
Oh, isn't it like a lunge?
No, that's the attack. Like,
Oh, okay. I don't know anything about fencing.
but yeah, no, like your leg stance is basically like just like slight squat. Like you have like one leg stretched outwards and pointed towards your opponent, the other one's like stretched at a 90-degree angle away and farther back. It's about shoulder length stance. But your knees are slightly bent so you can react fast, basically, and keep your balance.
Okay. And this is every Friday?
There's gonna be some Fridays that are skipped because of like holidays and stuff. Like I don't think I have one next week, but yeah, no, every Friday for a couple weeks I'm gonna be doing fencing.
It's
Nice.
cool. Yeah, so what's fencing like other than hard on your legs?
So I like the first lesson
have the
was literally
sword
just
here?
like, no, they don't give you the sword. The sword you actually
Okay.
have to can only use there, but they gave me the mask, they gave me the chest guard, they gave me the inner jacket, the outer jacket, and a glove. So
There's 2 jackets?
yeah, so the inner jacket and the outer jacket are for like wires and stuff like that, because like actual fencing setups use electronic scoring systems now, which you hook up to your sword and through your suit.
Cool.
Ooh, excuse me. So it's cool, so you don't have to like manually track like who got what. Like the pressure of the actual like hit will like tell and score automatically for you. It's actually kind of neat looking.
Okay. What's the like? I'm assuming you're in a class, or is this solo?
It's a class, yeah.
Yeah. What's
So,
like the kind of the age range?
When I was walking into the actual building, there were a bunch of like preteens and teenagers there. When I went to the actual class, the age range was anywhere from like 25 to 40.
Okay.
Yeah. So, specifically me and someone else are the only 2 that are beginners. Everyone else is like they've had a couple classes beginners.
Mm.
So we got pulled aside, we got told the basics, we got to put the suits on, we got to like practice the actual like extending to hit the target and stuff like that. So, and then I assume tomorrow is going to be more of that, and then maybe a little bit of practice against someone else.
Okay. So you haven't played against someone?
No,
Or played
not
fought
for the
at-
first lesson. That'd be a little too fast because they're only hour
Okay.
lessons.
Is that what's the right verb there? Is it fight another fence against another person? I guess.
I mean, it would be fence, I guess. Yeah.
Okay. I'm curious if it's gonna if it's going to hurt at all, or if it'll kind of be like, I don't know. I guess like paintball, you can come away with like a bruise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of curious.
Well, like
what
that's
range
what
that is.
the chest guard's there for, so you don't like actually hurt your chest if you have a
Right.
sensitive chest or anything like that. One of my friends who fenced in the past was like, "Do you have a cup?" I'm like, "They haven't told us anything about that." And like, they're like the suit itself will guard your genitals, but like at the same time, if someone's stabbing you in the dick, you're
Yeah.
probably
with a
not
knife,
fencing correctly.
like a long knife.
No, like like fencing foils are not like actually pointy at the end. They've got like a little rubber bit at the end, and that's what does the electronic reading. So thankfully, there's not going to be an impalement through my dick. But
Mhm.
yeah,
But getting hit, is it only jabs? I thought you could get hit like side on the arm and stuff. Is that not right?
I mean, unless like fencing is traditionally like poking,
Just
so,
poking? Okay, maybe I'm thinking of
yeah.
something different.
Because
then.
like the foil is not a slashing weapon. You might be thinking of maybe saber. The saber does have slashing and stuff like that.
I don't know what I'm thinking about, but this is cool. This is interesting. Good for you, man. And so you liked it? Do you think you're gonna stick with it, or is it too early to tell?
It's too early to tell, but like I enjoyed the first lesson. I'm sure I'll probably enjoy tomorrow's lesson, but I'll be really sore after it. So we'll see.
Hmm.
All right. Cool. Yeah, we'll report back. I want to hear the continued progress. Paul, what new sport are you doing?
Nothing.
Nothing?
Nope.
Okay. Well, that's fair. That's fine. I don't know if I mentioned here. I'm in a dodgeball league, but that started like a while ago. So that's why I'm
Yeah.
not sure if I mentioned it, but
That sounds fun.
I think you've mentioned it before. I'm not sure.
yeah, maybe. I don't know. Yeah. Okay, well, let's talk about some video games. Top down perspective, May 20th. Not May 20th, March 20th.
Wow.
Same
Jump 2
thing.
months ahead.
2 months ahead. I'm Sean Booker.
I'm Paul Fleck.
John Wheeler.
Paul, you've written some stuff down. What have you been playing?
I went through the Metal Slug main series, 1 to 7.
Yo, let's go.
I beat all of them except I stopped 7 because I didn't like it as much.
7?
That's fair.
6.
I was just about to ask, how many of them are there?
Numerically 7, and then there's like
yeah,
X
like
and double X,
Metal
which are
Slug in
remakes of 3 and
general,
7.
like I don't know, 12 to 15 somewhere in there probably.
Something like that. Depends if you count the
Tactics
mobile games.
just came out, right?
Tactics was last year, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, that did come out. No, I'm only playing the numbered ones, 1 to 7, like the main series. That series is very cool. 1 is still a classic. 2 is my favorite. 3 starts the trend of these bosses are way too tanky, and this is taking for fucking ever.
Yep.
And that trend gets worse as the series goes, but that's the start of it. It is kind of a cool, like, bunch of set pieces they do in 3 at least, so at least there's that. 4 I thought was okay. 5 was worse. 6 was awful, and 7 I didn't finish. Is basically how that went.
Yeah, so what happens is I think 4 onwards is when the actual like Neo Geo team kind of got bought out.
Yes,
and they had to
that's right.
change around a bunch of their teams and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
that's why it's kind of a mess. Because Metal Slug was supposed to end at 3.
Yeah,
That's
you can
why
tell
it's
too.
such a grand ending. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you can definitely tell.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's why it feels so odd and stuff like that. I like 6 personally. That's because I like that they added Ralph and Clark. So,
Okay. Yeah, I mean,
and
I
they
can
used
see
to
it.
have, they at least have a cab for it at the university, so I would play it between classes. So.
Sure, I played the PS2 version, so like it was.
Oh,
fine.
so yeah, the ones that kind of run like shit. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, to be fair, they all kind of run like shit. Like I was a little bit surprised. Metal Slug 2, there are parts that are near unplayable with the slowdown, which is why X was kind of nice to go to.
Yeah. I was gonna say, did you play X at all? 'Cause,
I
yeah,
did.
no, they literally were like, "Hey, we got to fix all the nonsense in 2," and then they just like, "Let's just make it also harder."
So you know what the fun thing about X is though is that they're like, okay, we have like a new system or whatever. Things are running good, so now we can put even more sprites in. It's like, what are you doing?
Oh, yeah.
You fixed it. Why are you slowing it down?
So like X was done in the 3 engine, so that's why
Yeah.
they went for that. It's like we got to test it if we're gonna do 3. So, but it's just so funny.
It is, yeah. 2's still my favorite though. That game just like builds on that first one's blueprint so well. It adds cool like little. That's the one that adds like the mummies and the weird like zombie thing. Like it just gets batshit insane in the right way. That game is cool.
I like 3 the most, but like I get that the last chapter of 3 just blows. It's just way too long. Yeah, so.
It's the ending of 3 that I was just like, I'm done, and it continued forever.
So I remember when I was first working at EB Games, Metal Slug 3 for the Xbox came out, and I was like, all right, cool, I love Metal Slug, let's get it. And then I read the reviews saying that every time you have to continue, you start at the beginning of the stage.
Yeah.
And Metal Slug 3's final stage is ungodly long, and if you lose your 3 lives, you go back to the start of it all. So I was like, haha, no, never mind.
Yeah, that's awful. So that is for like people who don't know or whatever, that is what 7 does on the DS, is that when you run out of your 3 credits or whatever, you have to start at the beginning of that stage again. And it makes it just an ungodly mess sometimes. Like some of the stages are fine. Some of them are just like, what are you guys doing or whatever.
Which 7 did you play?
DS, the DS version.
Oh, okay, so you didn't play Double X. Okay.
No, because I was going to play that after, but I was like, you know what, I'm done. I don't want to keep doing this.
Double X, well, yeah, like it still feels a bit odd. It feels better than 7 from what I remember. It feels more traditional Metal Slug. So, yeah, that would be my recommendation.
Yeah.
I love Metal Slug. I am literally wearing a Metal Slug hoodie right
nice.
now.
Yep.
So,
did you guys plan this? This is very cute.
No, I didn't.
No.
I had no idea.
I did that GDQ commentary for a Metal Slug X run a couple weeks ago too.
That's right. I remember
no,
you saying that.
I love the series, so I'm a big fan.
Maybe that's how
it's nice to see you playing them.
you started wanting to play this, as it was in your subconscious.
Maybe.
I can't remember what made me. I think I like picked up Metal Slug 1 again, and I was like, oh right, the animations for these games are fucking incredible. I should play through this whole thing, and I did. that's how that
Guns
went.
Iron game that I was talking about.
No, but I definitely want to check that out. There's a few other like run and gun games that I've been meaning to check out that are kind of similar or whatever. But yeah, the Metal Slug series is great. Even honestly, like the shittiest ones are still like super worth playing until you're done with them or whatever. Like none of them are awful to the point where they feel unplayable. And yeah, they're just really, really cool. That's a cool series. Some of those guns get crazy too, but like I think their biggest accomplishment is, unlike Contra, their fire shot is so fucking good. Oh my god.
Oh, the flame shot's insane.
It's so good. If Contra had a flame shot that was half as good as that, I would pick it up every time. Let alone, like, anytime I see it, how gleeful I get in Metal Slug. It's so good.
Yeah.
And the shotguns are crazy, too. Yeah, that series is awesome. People should check those games out for sure.
Absolutely.
Other than that, 33 Immortals, we were playing it last night with a few friends, so I had played this in the closed beta that happened months ago, and I was lukewarm on it. I thought it was cool, but I was playing solo. That game with friends is a whole different beast, and it's fucking incredible. It's so good.
Yeah, I've been wanting to play it this week. I've had like no free evenings, so that's kind of like I'm gonna try jump in this weekend, hopefully, on Game Pass. So that's cool.
It is,
but I'm really excited.
It's on Game Pass. It is cross-compatible with the different launchers or whatever, because one of my friends has it on Epic, and the rest of us were using it on Game Pass, and we were able to join a lobby together. It uses kind of like a lobby code. I just gave them the code, and we all could party up. You join the fray with the 4 of you, so you join in with 29 other people. And the downside to playing with friends is that when you die, or if you die, you have to wait until they're all dead before you can leave. So you're just kind of spectating. Whereas solo, you would obviously just jump out and then jump into a next game pretty quick. The plus sides, though, are you can be resurrected by friends. And if one of your party gets to the boss, you all resurrect to do the boss. So, like, the upsides are huge for being in a party. Also, you can coordinate better with, like, doing stuff together, which is the big thing.
It kind of frees you up that you can then talk shit about your friends because you don't have to focus on the game.
True. You just get to spectate them and just be like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Why are you doing? Like, you can just yell at them.
Good, yeah. Even though you already died, you become the real Statler and Waldorf of your friend group.
Yep, exactly.
4 is such an interesting thing because it's 33, which is not divisible by 4. So how does that work?
Right, yeah. So obviously it joins in with, like, random people or people joining in, like, 2 or, like, 3 or whatever. There's a bunch of, little areas you can go to where it takes 3 people to, like, activate something, which is also an odd number out. One of the weapon abilities for the tank, the giant sword, is you can do a co-op ability where you give 2 other people a shield along with you. Again, there's 3 of you out of 4. Like, somebody's always left out of that. It is weird that they chose 4 when a lot of things seem to be like, oh, this was made for 3 people originally and somebody changed it.
Interesting, yeah.
Because even so, you have, like, the world map thing, and you have to wait until what are they called? The torture chambers open up, and they're like little dungeons that you have to do to get to the ascension to go to the boss. And even those, it's 6 people, which is 2 groups of 3 originally. So, like, everything to do with this game obviously meant to be a 3-party system originally, and they completely changed it somewhere.
That's weird. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's in early access, so I'm curious if that will change in any way. Yeah. No, I'm excited for it. Obviously, I liked Spiritfarer. This is nothing like Spiritfarer.
No.
I had it described to me as like MMO Hades.
Yeah, it is. I mean, yeah, it's a raid, right? Like, it's an MMO raid essentially, but you don't have to communicate with anybody, which is great. But
you can do it through like emojis, right? That's the only form of communication.
Yeah. No, that game is super cool, and the fact that it's on Game Pass, it's like the perfect price to just jump in with some friends and test it out for a while.
Yeah. I'm excited. Hopefully I'll be able to talk about it next week.
Yeah. That's it for me, though.
John, did you play anything?
Not really, no. Still working through Sly Cooper 2 on stream. Yeah, trying to think of what we played. I played Death Stranding for the first time last night on stream.
Ooh, okay.
I've actually been planning to go back and play through it just on easy because 2's coming out in like 3 months or whatever it is.
I've also been planning to replay.
Yeah. Well, so I'm playing the director's cut, and I only played it for like, let's say, 40 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So you just watch cutscenes.
That's Kojima as fuck. That's Kojima as fuck.
It is. Yeah. Yep.
I don't fully remember, but is there any gameplay in the first 40 minutes?
Yeah. No, you get gameplay in like 5 minutes, maybe.
Oh,
but then it goes into a lot of cutscenes, and then it's like gameplay for 5 minutes. Then it's a lot of cutscenes.
Yep. You gotta move those boxes.
Are you gonna go back to it? Did it hook you in any way?
I'm definitely interested. Like I'm always interested in Kojima stuff, but like, do I dedicate the time to it? Is the question. I haven't been doing much gaming in my spare time lately. I've been just kind of working on organizing.
Well, now you're a jock. You're fencing and
exactly. That's why I don't need
VR boxing.
That was the trick the whole time. I convinced everyone I liked gaming.
Yeah.
Yep. Cool. Okay, over on my side, I'm finally now allowed to talk about Assassin's Creed Shadows.
Okay.
Great.
Yeah.
Embargo went up earlier this week. It's out today, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like it's off to a huge start. They already have over 1 million players, so people were excited.
Cool. Yep.
I mean, it reviewed pretty well. Wasn't it like 88 or something like that on Metacritic?
I think the last I saw was 81, so I guess it's gone up. But I think it's the most interesting and best Assassin's Creed since Origins. Which I mean, that's not like a very high bar because after Origins, they kind of just kept doing the same thing in different settings without mixing it up too much. Other than like, hey, what if we just made it even bigger? And then there was Mirage, which I can't really speak to that. I didn't play it, but no one really talked about Mirage after it came out, which is not a great sign. So people seem pretty excited about this. I think a lot of that is also because it's like the setting that fans have been waiting for since like this series was like announced. Yeah,
of course. Yeah.
So it's just an exciting setting and stuff. But yeah, I think it's actually really good. The dual protagonists. So it's interesting. You start as Yasuke for like 30 minutes, and you kind of get like his little introduction. And you play Naue for at least 10 hours exclusively. Like, I'm probably somewhere between like 12 and 15 hours in, and I have barely touched Yasuke. I almost thought I had like missed like a prompt on how to switch to him, but no, it's like primarily like Naue for the most part. And I actually, now that I do have access to both of them, I prefer Naue. So the way they split it up is in the previous 3 Assassin's Creeds. Again, this is like another big open world one. It plays pretty much identically to Origins, Odyssey, and Valhalla. Your main character, your one character, was both an expert assassin and an expert fighter. Any situation, you were just fine. Now they've split that and then made each of them better at their own skill set. So Naue is not great at fighting, but she is really good at being an assassin. And then Yasuke is really bad at sneaking. He can barely even like climb stuff. Like he is like not an assassin, but he can just like level fools. Like there's when you get Yasuke for like real, the introduction to him is so great. Cause like I said, I had just been playing Naue for like 10 hours straight, having to be like sneaky and stealthy. And if there was like a big enemy, I have to be kind of careful. Like, can I do an assassination? Do I need to run away? Could I even handle this fight if I did it? Having to be really strategic about parrying and dodging if I was to go like one-on-one with somebody. And then Yasuke can kill anyone in like 2 hits. He literally has a special attack where he can just like kick them like a block away, like a 300 style kick. It is comically far. It's so awesome. So when you finally get him, it's just like, oh man, I've been playing it safe this whole time. It's such a fun, cool moment because you're also in like this crazy lightning storm is going on, and you're just wrecking like 3 fools at a time. Which with Naue, 3 people, you're gonna lose. You need to run. You cannot fight 3 people at the same time. In the previous Assassin's Creed, it's like I'll hit the parry button, against 8 guys. It doesn't matter. My guy will just parry any incoming attack. That doesn't happen anymore. Maybe with Yasuke, but anyways, I prefer Naue just because I actually like the assassin gameplay. I like getting up to a big castle, sneaking around and being like, okay, who's on their own? Who can I take out? If I jump into this bush, who can I call over? It's almost kind of like a puzzle of how can I like systematically take down every single person in here. Excuse me. Whereas Yasuke, again, he can't really sneak, so you're pretty much like just gonna barrel in there, and then you're fighting 3 dudes the whole time. And while you're fighting them, you're making noise, and other people are coming, and he can hold his own for that. I just prefer the sneaking gameplay, minute gameplay of that versus the like combat. The combat's fine, but just if I was gonna like pick what's my preference, I like Naue. So I've actually been playing more with Naue. I haven't done any like major missions since getting them both, so I can't speak long term with both of them, but for the most part, as soon as I got them both, I did a little bit with Yasuke, and then I kind of went back to Naue just because that's what I was comfortable with and what I was enjoying more. But
Sure,
I think
makes
it's
sense.
great. I think it's a really good looking game. It's really polished. Like the extra delays, they clearly like ironed out a ton of the bugs. I don't think I've seen anything. The one bug I did see was every NPC in this field was doing the same animation at the same time. So that was just kind of funny.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Like they were all like, it wasn't like mowing the lawn or whatever, you know, they were tending to the rice or whatever it was, digging a hole, but they were all doing the exact thing, like side by side, the 3 of them and whatnot. So that was kind of funny. But other than that, like, it's a really polished, really good looking game. And it seems like a lot of people were like excited. I also think maybe with kind of Mirage, which not a lot of people seem to have played. Like I said, nobody was really talking about it that much.
Mm-hmm.
There's been a bit of a break, so maybe people are coming back to it. I don't know that for sure. I'm just kind of thinking out loud, but
Sure.
yeah, I don't know. What do you guys? You guys have any questions about Assassin's Creed Shadows?
No, because you kind of answered them with just the stuff you were talking about. So, like,
Yeah.
but it sounds like at the end of the day, it's still an Assassin's Creed game. So you still kind of want like the open world thing, sneaking around. Maybe that's why you like Nasuke so much more, because it feels more like akin to Assassin's Creed. What you know, maybe.
Naue is the assassin. Yasuke is the brute. Yeah, it is still. You're gonna climb the tower. You're gonna get more of the map opened up, and so on. My one gripe with it is I think some of the voice acting, the performances is kind of stiff. Even Naue, just more than once I've had some of the lines be like, there could have been a bit more emotion in that. Like that seems like a weird choice that they went with this. Maybe that's the best they got. I don't know.
Interesting.
That's kind of my one gripe really so far. But gameplay wise, playing wise, yeah, having a ton of fun. There's also like a ton of loot, which is something they had leaned away from. Origins had a lot of loot. Odyssey had a shit ton of loot, and then Valhalla they streamlined the loot and they kind of made it more like you're gonna get new weapons sporadically, but they're gonna be like worth it and blah blah blah. They just went back to tons of loot. You just get tons of loot now. But I will say though, like fashion in this game, like the robes and the armor set I'm unlocking for my characters, they look so cool.
Nice.
Yeah, like this might be the first time I actually do I think it's in here. Like like the transmogrify thing where it's like I want the better skills, but I want it to look like this. I kind of really never engage with that because I like my character changing. I might do that this time because just there's been a few robes where I'm like, God, she looks like such a cool ninja right now. I gotta play with this for a bit longer.
That's awesome. Is it scratching that Ghost of Tsushima itch until Yotai comes out?
I guess so. Yeah,
that's good.
It's been a while since I played Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of in the back of my head. But yeah, I guess that feudal Japan's just really hot right now. We had Shogun last year, so that was there. But yeah, I mean it's definitely scratching that itch, I will say.
Nice.
I'm curious to see where the story goes. There's animus stuff, which is, but it's like barely here. Every now and when you first start it, you get a little bit, and then every now and then there'll be someone being like, kind of glitchy, come in. They're lying to you. It's like, okay. So there's something there. I don't know how much it's going to be. And it's also, that's a weird question. Like every Assassin's Creed kind of does it differently. Like sometimes they just don't do it at all. Like there's just nothing.
Right.
Sometimes, obviously the first trilogy, there was a ton. Then this most recent one, there was stuff like they had Layla and they actually had a character. So this one, there doesn't seem like there's a character, but there's some things I don't know. So I'm kind of curious what they're gonna do with that.
Desmond's coming back. A couple
No,
years from now,
no.
he's coming back.
I'd be
I don't think
impressed
they could.
considering.
No, I don't
He's
think
dead,
so either.
right? Like, isn't he
He
dead?
died. He died in 3. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, okay. It's been a long
yeah.
time. I forgot everything to do with that.
And that was
shit.
such a weird decision because they were like building him up to be like modern day assassin.
Yeah.
Like, clearly, like look, he's getting all these skills, and then no, he's dead.
They threw it
we're
away.
Never going to talk about it again.
Yeah.
Well, because everyone
Except in-
complained about everyone complained about the segments where you were in the future. They didn't like the modern day stuff.
And there was just like a random like what's the word I'm looking for? Like narrative little scrolls you would find to touch on like whatever happened to that guy and stuff. And yeah, so I don't think they even really know what they want to do with the Animus stuff.
But it's there in case they need to put something in there. Yeah.
Yeah. And then so the other thing I wanted to mention is when you launch this game, it goes to this kind of launcher, which I have to assume is some kind of like precursor to that Ubisoft Infinite thing
Right.
that they had announced, where it's like everything's going to come together, or it's going to be some kind of hub.
Yep.
So when you launch Shadows, it brings you to this screen, and there's a few things in here. There's like backstory stuff. It's basically a battle pass, and the
Mhm.
way you engage with it is there will be these like kind of Animus branded missions in the world that are literally just like kill this guy by like the end of this week. Like it's a weekly challenge or whatever. And if you kill this one dude, he doesn't look special or anything. He's not like a glitch guy. Although now that I think about it, some of the areas around him are kind of glitched, but only in just like we screwed up the environment, not like we've ripped a hole in this and you're seeing through. It's just kind of the vision gets bad. But regardless, you kill the one guy, you get some credits. You get enough credits, you get a level in the battle pass, which it might get you some armor or something, and then obviously you can pay money to keep going. It is super like back burner. You can completely ignore it. I guess you should because it doesn't seem that interesting. But the other thing that is kind of odd is the main menu of this launcher shows the last 5 Assassin's Creeds, so Origins, Odyssey, Valhalla, Mirage, and Shadows, and you can scroll through them, and if you have them installed you can just launch it from there.
Sure.
Which implies there's a person out there with more than one Assassin's Creed game that they're playing at the same time, which I don't think that person exists.
This is the Call of Duty thing too. They do the same thing, and
I guess
it's like
kind of like Call of Duty.
And like, why would you play Black Ops 2 if you have Black Ops 3, 4, 5, and 6 installed? Like, which one are you playing? But I guess people do it, so.
I couldn't imagine. Like I've played almost all of them. The idea of like bouncing back and forth between these two games seems wild to me.
Especially when they're like 50 plus hours, depending on the game.
At minimum.
Minimum.
Like they're close to 100-hour games. Like like that's weird. And if you don't have them installed, obviously, if you click on it, it'll bring you to the store if you want to buy them. But it's also weird that it's only the last 5. You would think they would want to try and get all of them in there, which. Does that hint? Are they going to start like kind of remastering some of the old ones?
It's been long enough. Didn't they technically do that with 3? Didn't they already do that with 3? Got like a technical remaster or something like that?
Yeah, they have done some remasters. You're right. But yeah, you're definitely right. And especially like, 3, and I think some of Ezio's got remastered as well. Maybe even Black Flag. But they're not in here. I don't know why they're not in here. Why wouldn't you put as many in here as you can? Especially because a lot of those games, they'll still be playable on pretty much any console, right? Because the PC and then and Xbox and PlayStation 5, they're all at least one generation backwards compatible. So they should be able to launch those games. So I don't know why they're not mentioned in here, but yeah, I don't know where that goes.
Do people like 3? I don't remember people talking much about it.
3 I heard was pretty mixed.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think people. Keep in mind, you were also coming off of Ezio. In fact,
people loved
3
Ezio.
games of Ezio. People really liked Ezio.
They did. True.
Ezio got his own trilogy within the trilogy, and then Connor, which was the main character in.
I couldn't remember his
3,
name.
I think was just pretty boring. Like he was not charismatic like Ezio.
Mm-hmm.
Also, that wasn't even like a great setting because like. It was like America. There wasn't like tall buildings, so that was when they did the tree running. That was their big thing.
That's right. Yeah.
So
because it was colonial America.
Right.
Yeah, so it was just kind of like a bit of a lackluster setting character. It wasn't great, which is a bummer because it was also the end of the big trilogy. So
Yeah.
it just kind of went out on like a wet blanket. And then after that, you get Black Flag, which is
Black
just
Flag.
like pirate fun, and people loved it again.
I've seen a lot of people say that's still their favorite. People love that.
Black
Black
Flag's a
Flag
good one.
ranks pretty well, yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of people seem to be coming back around on Unity.
Was that the
Interesting.
super glitched one?
That was
Or
the
is that
super
Rogue?
glitched one,
Yeah.
but I guess eventually, like when they fixed it enough and everyone had moved on, apparently, like it's actually a really good one. I barely played that one
That's the
because that
London
was the
one?
year they launched 2 Assassin's Creed games, like
Yeah.
in the same quarter. Because that was also was it Vengeance, the one that was like a follow up to Black Flag, but you played as a Templar,
That
and
sounds
and it was on the
right.
previous generation, and that was the one I played.
Mm.
But yeah, I didn't play much of Unity, but apparently Unity is really good. I also have heard people coming around on Syndicate as well, but this was like when they were like cranking them out. So I've barely touched Unity and Syndicate.
Hmm.
Syndicate had like the Jack the Ripper DLC. Like
Oh,
there's
that's
some
the
cool
one
stuff in there.
I was thinking. Which one's
Yeah.
Unity then? That's the one I was mixing up with Unity.
You were saying Unity's in Paris, so that was French
Paris.
Revolution, I guess.
Okay.
And then yeah, Syndicate was London, so yeah, it had like the Jack the Ripper DLC and all that stuff. Like
Right. Okay.
this was when we were in like too much Assassin's Creed. They're blurring together. We need to slow down a bit. And then after that, they obviously changed everything with Origins. So
Yeah.
that was a good one again too.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Assassin's Creed, like a lot of it.
And then there's the movie.
Yeah, which I still haven't seen with Michael Fassbender, the movie.
Oh, yeah.
I do need to see that.
You do. You're the Assassin's Creed guy, so.
Yeah, apparently.
Yep.
Okay, so that's Shadows. I'm gonna keep playing Shadows. But we should talk a bit about GDC because I've been at GDC all week.
Sure.
How's it been?
Talk about it.
Yeah, so out of the games I can talk about, I got to play Clair Obscur Expedition 33,
Mhm.
and I am so excited for that game. It is so cool. I want to talk about the combat. So for those who don't know, it's an RPG, like a turn-based RPG, but the combat is this weird mix of turn-based and real time. So when you do an attack or like a skill attack, there's just regular attack, and then if you do one of your skills, it has the like Mario RPG, Paper Mario style. If you hit A at certain times,
Mm.
it'll like boost the damage. It'll do multiple attacks. You can also you get like action points basically, and you spend your 4 action points to do skills, to do regular attacks, blah blah blah. You can spend an action point to hit left trigger, which will go into a free aim because everybody has a ranged attack, and you can literally point at enemy weak shots and with like a pistol shoot the weak spot.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
And on top of that, when the enemy is doing their attack, you can choose to guard in real time or parry in real time, which will do a counter attack. So there's all this like real time combat you're doing in between the turn-based stuff. It is such a cool mix. I've never seen it before.
And it doesn't feel overwhelming at all, or
It's a little overwhelming at the beginning, but you get it pretty quick, pretty quick. Even like the parrying, which I thought was going to be a bunch. After like the second enemy that I was trying to get the parries down, I was doing pretty good, and it feels really good when you get that parry because they do like a huge counter attack. So that was pretty cool. Just keep in mind, like it is still kind of formatted as turn-based, so you can just like not do anything, and the game will just stay paused until you're ready to do something.
Okay.
So,
I like it.
you're not getting like thrown in the deep end. It's
Yep.
when you want to do the thing, but it's just stuff I hadn't seen before, like the aiming and shooting. Like there's like a a shooting mini game inside of this menu, basically. Like it's pretty unique and wild. The music is also awesome. Like the combat music, loved it. Can't wait to hear more of that, which I feel like is a huge good sign for an RPG that we're going to hear that combat music a lot.
Yeah.
And then it looks super pretty. Tons of particle effects when you're like hitting them and stuff like that. So this comes out at the end of next month. It's on Game Pass. I am super excited for it.
Yep.
So I think people should definitely keep this on their radar for sure.
The one question I had that maybe you can answer is I really kind of fell in love with Metaphor had this like just restart the battle feature. Like if you're like fucked up or something and you're like, I'm going to die, rather than having to actually die and then reload or something, you could just like retry right from the start. Do they introduce that or any other quality of life turn-based stuff in here?
That I don't know. I'd
Okay.
have to spend more time with it. I was also at the very beginning, so maybe
Okay.
that's something that they would introduce later, but I had spent 20 minutes with it, and it was from the beginning of the game.
Okay.
So I don't know if there's anything like that. I will agree with you. That was an awesome feature for Metaphor.
Very
Just
good.
restarting the battle.
Yep.
And you could also like cheese it if you got like a bad start,
Yep.
or you did the because in that game, like if you do the wrong like elemental attack, it'll
Yep.
actually like fuck you up, and it's like, okay, I'm not gonna do that attack. Let's just restart this first turn, and
Did
I'll
that
do
a
fire
bunch.
instead of ice.
Yep. It's just basically
So, yeah,
save scumming in the new century. It's great.
Yeah, exactly. Hotel Barcelona, I played.
Mm-hmm.
And then immediately got to interview and get a photo with Swery.
Yeah.
So that was awesome.
I did see the photo.
I actually got a photo with a lot of people that I'm really happy about. I interviewed and got a picture with Keita Takahashi, Katamari Damacy guy. He did that whole interview barefoot.
Okay, sure.
Just, yep, I don't know. Yep, that was him.
Free spirit.
Yep.
Interviewed Ben Starr for first Berserker Kazan.
Mm-hmm.
Got to, can't talk about this one yet, but I got to meet Bennett Foddy and play some baby steps.
Okay, yep.
Nice.
I'll talk about that in a couple weeks. But anyways, Hotel Barcelona. That game is extremely hard. It is brutal, but it is a roguelike. So of course they want you to die and get more skills and keep trying and keep trying. Every time you die, you go back to the Hotel Barcelona, and it's full of quirky characters. And we were talking to Swear and we were asking him questions. Sounds like he wrote the whole game, so there's going to be a bunch of like sweary narrative in there, and then him and Suda are trying to make this their best feeling game, which they were. I was relayed this information from Swery. They understand that they often get praised on their like setting and narrative, but maybe the gameplay is where they get criticized on.
It's usually
so they're working
awful.
hard to make this.
Yeah.
So they're working hard to make this their best.
That's great.
Playing game.
Awesome.
I don't know if I thought it was like amazing. The combat did feel kind of slow, but better than it has. Like I guess the closest game he's kind of done to this would have been The Missing.
Yeah,
it's another like side-scrolling quasi-action game.
I kind of liked that game too, to be honest with you. Like it was fine. So
yeah, I think you'll find a lot here. It's all the settings and themes are based on like 90s horror movies.
Oh,
yeah.
Nice. Now I'm interested.
I'm in.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like I was only playing one stage, but the concept of the stage is you're at a stay away camp in like a slasher movie, trying to get through that.
Yeah,
and
that's
then,
great.
Yeah, so I'm assuming that there'll be even more of those. I died pretty regularly, so I didn't get to see too far into it because it is very hard.
Okay. Fair enough.
What else? To a T. So I did play To a T.
I don't think I know this one.
Which
that's the Kid Takahashi game.
This is the new Kid
Takahashi
with the kid who is T poses at all times.
Yeah. Right. Yep.
So this is a really like narrative heavy game, which Takahashi has like never done. Takahashi does kind of like complete just gameplay, almost no narrative whatsoever. So this is like it's kind of slow. It's almost kind of like an adventure game where the demo's only about 20 minutes long, and it's like the first day of school, so you need to like you kind of do these like mini games to get ready, and it's like, okay, I got to brush my teeth, and each arm is on a different analog stick, but the kid can kind of barely move, so he has like an extra long toothbrush and stuff. It's quirky, it's goofy, it's lighthearted. But it seems like there's going to be this coming of age story because the kid is getting bullied. Like other kids are T-posing in his face and stuff to be mean.
Sure, yeah.
There is also this like quasi mystery of like where the kid's dad is, which I have to assume.
Oh no,
that's because the mom is like, should I tell him about his dad yet? No, probably not. So it's like I have a feeling there's something about the dad is why this kid is T-posing.
Sure,
I don't know though. But it's lighthearted. Like you go to see your friend Giraffe who makes you a birthday sandwich. There's like a muscle, like a super ripped bird that just talks in like bird language to you, and you're like, I don't understand you. Bye.
Okay.
It's like it's goofy, it's whimsical, but there seems to be like a real like wholesome kind of story going on behind the scenes as well. Yeah, I think if you like Takahashi games, you'll be into this. It's also coming to Game Pass, so that'll be an easy entry for a lot of people.
Yep, it's awesome.
Yeah. What else did I play that I can talk about? I think those were the big ones that I can talk about. There are 2 other games I really liked, but they have embargoes for the next couple of weeks, so I will talk about them in a future episode.
And offline to us, obviously.
And obviously offline to you guys, yeah. As long as if you sign the NDAs,
As long as we don't
yeah.
Which
tell
I have.
anyone, that's the thing, which
I have
we
a
just
blanket
literally
NDA
did.
for everything. I
Yeah.
can't talk about anything actually anymore. So
Exactly. All right, let's do some news in that case. Not a ton happened this week. We've got some small stories. The first one's from Ubisoft. They have implemented a anti-harassment campaign for Assassin's Creed Shadows devs.
good, nice.
Good. Yeah. Agreed.
Yep. So, obviously, this is up in Canada, where Ubisoft is headquartered. There's a team that monitors networks and acts quickly in the event of a targeted attack. Unlike what we've had before, this is serious. According to the report, posts across social media, this is like towards their devs, will be closely monitored by a dedicated unit, and lawyers are already ready to file complaints in the event of proven harassment.
Good.
Oh, they played the lawyer card. Wow.
Yeah, so I guess what this report is talking about is they're telling their employees to like not mention that they're devs as first and foremost, but if they are getting harassed, they're ready. I have to assume a lot of this is in reference to when Bungie actually like sued that one group for harassing them for like a few $1,000,000 or a few $100,000 or whatever it was.
They like set a
saw that it
precedent.
worked.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm hoping that's kind of what this is. I'm kind of surprised it took this long because I feel like Ubisoft's been getting, or the devs have been getting harassed about this game for a while.
Oh, and they definitely still are right now because there's so many people going on like, oh, there's a black guy in my game, I hate it. So
Yep.
I mean, they're not
exactly.
they're not the only ones. People that have been streaming it have been fucking like shat on and whatever too. Like,
oh yeah, no,
it's
I
been
saw
bad.
that video that was going around on Blue Sky. with
Which
the
one?
Cowboy dude.
Oh, fighting
The one
Cowboy.
from
Yeah.
Cowboy.
No,
Yeah.
that was great.
No, that
Fighting
was a good-
Cowboy.
He had a real good retort. Real good retort.
He's great fighting Cowboy, but a lot of people have. It's been messy. It's not been good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pretty crazy. But I guess good on Ubisoft. And I hope this helps the devs in some way. Like,
Yeah.
I hope it's scaring people off.
At least they're trying something. Yeah.
Yeah, as opposed to just like letting it happen for sure. But too bad it didn't happen sooner. But better than nothing, I guess.
Yeah.
Game Informer is teasing something happening on March 25th. If you remember, Game Informer laid off the entire staff and closed down last year.
Right.
The magazine was gone. So I don't know. Let's take guesses. What do you think? What do you think's happening with Game Informer?
Reboot.
Yeah.
Reboot or they went independent.
It's something like that because, like, for context also, the thing we're looking at, there's an image of, like, a video, and the video title is Continue, ?
Yeah.
There's no way they do a new magazine though, right?
No.
Like this is just this
Like
is just a
digital only,
website.
maybe.
Probably a YouTube channel
Sure.
or something, yeah.
Probably YouTube channel. I think it's definitely like website first. I'd be shocked if they try to launch another magazine.
There's no
my
way.
opinion. I'm also kind of curious, like if they're bringing any of the staff back, because a lot of the main staff they started a Patreon and they're doing min-max now, and it's very successful for them. So I doubt they would be coming back to Game Informer. But I mean, there was still people obviously at Game Informer at the very end there. Yeah, who knows? I guess we'll find out next week.
Yeah.
But if they are relaunching it, I hope it's not a scenario like what happened over on Waypoint, where they laid off all the staff there, and then a year or two later they started posting game articles again under the author byline Waypoint staff, and then the old staff were like, "We have no idea who this is. They're just using our old name." That would suck.
Yeah.
Yeah. But hey, if it's about to give some more people games journalist jobs, that's great because we've been losing a lot of games journalists over the last few years. All right, Split Fiction is already getting a movie.
What?
Yep.
All right.
Split Fiction movie is in the works. The bidding war begins for rights to adapt the hit video game. Story Kitchen involved? I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I don't
Story
know.
Kitchen.
Don't know.
Studio or something.
This
It must be, yeah,
website
studio
is-
or something. That's right, probably.
Yeah, I can't read it because it wants me to turn my ad blocker off, which I'm not going to do.
No, never.
I mean, It Takes Two is already getting a movie starring The Rock, right? Isn't that what's going on?
that doesn't surprise me, but I don't remember.
That
pretty
wouldn't
sure
surprise me.
I'm pretty sure The Rock's doing an It Takes Two movie.
Great.
which still it's been years for that, so I'm kind of surprised this one is going so fast when that one seems to be kind of in limbo. But what do I know?
Yeah.
But I mean, speaking of Split Fiction, Paul, did you play any more of it?
No, not this week.
Okay, it's a good game.
I
could easily see it being a movie. Like that, it just makes sense. So good for them. All right, and the last one, here's a small one. Microsoft briefly posted a new Xbox UI mockup that includes a Steam Games filter.
I did see this, yeah.
So this is actually something that had been kind of talked about a while ago. Phil Spencer even mentioned the idea of like having other storefronts on their Xbox, such as like your Steam games and whatnot. And now we're seeing an image that it kind of shows like the games library, and then one of the ways you can filter it has like recently added, installed, owned, Game Pass, and Steam is on there. So this would kind of imply that you somehow have access to your Steam games through your Xbox. Just one more thing leading to that. I don't know. What do you guys think? Is that something you would take advantage of?
I could see Steam themselves wanting to have some sort of foothold in the console sphere, so I could see them partnering with Xbox for that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think it makes sense if they do it.
Yeah.
I think it comes down to a question of like, if I can play my Steam games on my Xbox, why would I ever buy an Xbox game through their storefront when it is probably cheaper in the Steam storefront if they're going to both play on my Xbox? And then why would Microsoft be okay with that?
Yeah. I don't know.
Does Microsoft get some kind of kickback because it's through their console or whatever?
I would assume so.
I would
that
assume
would be kind
so.
of insane otherwise.
Yeah.
Because I would assume if it's just like if it was just like an app on the Xbox to like cloud like remote play into my PC, then it wouldn't be in this filter. That seems almost like it's integrated. So it seems like it's different from that. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know how they would implement this, what it could mean, but kind of cool that it seems like it's actually happening.
Yeah, interesting times for sure. I have a weird little thing to bring up that I found kind of interesting, if you don't mind.
Please.
The Seattle Mariners, the baseball team, is going to start having Nintendo branding on their jerseys, which I found kind of...
Wait, I thought Nintendo sold them.
They did. They still own a 10% share in them, and they still are partners with them. So apparently, let me just quickly see. So starting March 27th, next week, I guess the jerseys are going to have some Nintendo branding on their sleeves, specifically the Nintendo
on
Racetrack logo on their home jerseys and the Switch 2 logo on their away jerseys.
Yeah.
I thought that was just kind of fun.
Cool.
Yeah, just
Are you going to get one of these jerseys then?
God, no. Fuck no.
No? Okay.
Paul famously enjoys baseball.
I hate baseball. It's like the one sport I can't even watch. I just find it so boring.
Baseball is super boring. I can't stand baseball.
Yeah, man. I can't.
I'm trying to think. I might watch anything before baseball.
Wow.
I have watched golf before to fall asleep. That's ASMR. That's all that is. I get it. But yeah, like...
I think I might prefer watching golf over baseball.
Just in general, probably. Yeah, I'd probably agree.
What about you, John? What's the sport you'd want to watch the least?
Watch the least? Baseball is kind of up there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hockey's fun to watch.
Yep.
Yeah, but we're trying to figure out the least one to watch.
Volleyball's been hit or miss when I've watched it.
No way. Volleyball would be fun. Is way more fun to watch than baseball.
I mean, it's faster.
Yeah.
Trying to think of what I've always found like the least interesting out of the Olympics, and it's not coming to mind right now.
I even find like
diving has like a lot of like delay to it. So
I think diving is so cool to watch, like the tricks they do.
Cool to watch, but there's so many delays between like sets. So
I even find like American football super boring.
Yeah.
Football will probably be like up there for me.
Yeah, I find it boring too, for sure.
All right, let's do some questions. TopDownPerspective@gmail.com is the email address, at TDP Podcast on Blue Sky, the Discord channel, or John's P.O. Box. You could sound like Suku, who writes, "Oh no, in an attempt to remove the fast food curse." Oh, okay, this is the is a
Oh, it's a-
callback to the last
Yeah,
week where
right.
you were
Okay.
only allowed to have one fast food meal for like a year or something. Okay, so it's mutated into something else. Now you can have as much food as you want, but it has to come from a single franchise. It is the only foods you're allowed to eat. What do you choose? Is this not the same question?
No, last time it was you could only eat. Oh my
Or was it
god!
one
You know
specific
what?
I
meal
think it was
from?
one item
It'll
specifically
be in the
last week.
document. Hold on. Let me just quickly read it.
Yeah, it says you're only allowed to have one fast food meal a year. What would you choose?
Oh yeah, one a year. So this is where you can have as much fast food as you want, but it can only come
from
from a
one-
single company, essentially a franchise.
Okay.
Yeah. Trying to think of what company has the most variety.
Yeah, me
Yeah, I
too.
think you want to go with a variety one. So
Yeah,
I mean,
McDonald's
Subway's
has a
still up
decent
there for me.
variety. Subway, Culver's would be a good one. Culver's is actually pretty good.
I could even see like Panda Express.
Yeah, Panda Express be kind of good. I like Panda Express.
Yeah,
Subway
I
wouldn't be
love
bad.
Mexican food, but there's no way I'm doing Taco Bell.
Yeah,
No.
that's a bad that's bad time.
The problem with Taco Bell is I feel like all of their items, and again, this is from someone who like hasn't eaten Taco Bell in years. I barely touch fast food these days, but from my perspective, Taco Bell, it's all kind of the same food, just in a different shape.
You're not wrong. Yep. Yep.
So I'm probably going Subway.
Yeah, like a sub place would be good. I like Mr. Sub
Yeah.
more myself because it's right here also. So
And you're
I'll probably
Canadian.
pick
so
Yeah,
you have to
Firehouse
exactly.
or Jersey Mike's. Yeah.
oh yeah, Firehouse or Jersey Mike's. That's true. All
Do
good.
you guys have those up there?
We have Firehouse.
We do.
I
Yeah.
did not know that. Okay.
We only got it here past few months, so
Jersey Mike's, that's the one that's like they put like a ton of sauce on it, right? Like it is a wet sandwich.
pretty sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ugh, wet sandwich. All right. VGC Kenny writes, the uncanny valley is the idea that if something appears close to human but isn't, it makes non-human features more pronounced. The uncanny quality, which is something I made up and easiest explained by comparing it to uncanny valley, is the idea that the closer to pure excellence a game is, the more its flaws are pronounced. That isn't to say it's a bad game by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, it's a good game, but its flaws keep it from being a 10 out of 10 experience or close to it. And that bothers you a lot. Maybe even more than a bad game. What game is that for you?
I like this idea. I can get
Godhand.
behind this idea. And one, this is kind of tangentially related. If it's like a series or a genre or franchise that you're very close to, you tend to become more critical of it than if it was something you have less affinity towards.
For sure.
Yeah, and that's kind of around in the same ballpark. But sorry, John, you were about to say.
God Hand.
Sure.
Okay.
Yep.
It's a game I love, but like it's got just enough quirks to keep it from being a perfect experience.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Damn.
I would also say probably Wind Waker because I don't like the travel type of Zelda games like the boat or Spirit Tracks' train and stuff like that. But like
I
the rest of
do
the
hate the
game is
boat.
good.
Yeah, I do hate the boat. I agree, actually.
But in the remaster, they made the boat faster.
Yeah, but you still have to do the boat.
Okay.
They shaved off like I think it was like 5 hours from a playthrough or something like that by just giving you double speed.
Yeah, it was double speed. You
remember
got
how long
an
it
extra
was.
sail or something like that. Yeah, that's what it was.
Oh yeah, I was actually pretty close. Yeah, the normal Wind Waker takes 29 hours for main story. HD takes 25. It literally shaved 4 hours off the playtime,
Okay.
which is insane.
Huh.
I mean, what comes to mind for me was like when they remastered Burnout Paradise, a game I hold like very dear in my heart, and then they kind of didn't like update it to like modern racing game standards. Like there was still no fast travel and stuff. Then it was kind of just like maybe this should have just kind of stayed in the past because now I have like less affinity towards it, and I end up not playing a ton of that remaster. Whereas the original game, like I played it on like 3 different platforms.
Right, right. Man, I'm having trouble coming up with anything for this, to be honest with you.
Well, I'm just trying to like maybe jog your memory. Is like you're obviously very into Resident Evil, so is that do you find yourself extra critical when a new one of those comes out?
Yeah, probably. but
or
like
Monster Hunter.
well, the thing is that Monster Hunter progressively has been getting better because it's been like fixing problems here and there, so they have been getting better. Which yeah, so probably not that. I was trying to think like what other games I really like Metal Gear games, but like they're not flawed enough that like I don't know, like they don't really fit in here for me either. John bringing up Wind Waker was good because I do like a lot of that game, except I think it's ruined by having to move around it. So that was a good one.
Or maybe like a genre, like you play a lot of Souls-like, you play a lot of Metroidvania.
Yes. Closer it is to X, the more its flaws are pronounced. Yeah, I don't know, man. I overlook a lot of flaws, so I just kind of don't really like. If I was playing one right now, I could be like, "This is great, except this." But like remembering back on it, I usually just ignore the flaws. I remember things more fondly than when I'm in them. Generally.
I mean, that's just rose-tinted goggles. You're just describing that.
Yeah, exactly.
Or like a recency bias, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, John, you want to read this last one from?
Yep. Phantom just writes in and says, "Ahoy, TDP crew! What are your favorite tricksters in fiction? Here are some examples to help your brain narrow it down: Bugs Bunny, Loki, the Joker, Columbo, which is my answer,
So
Spider-Man, Sun Wukong, etc." Yeah, Columbo's perfect.
Columbo being in there is so good. The tricksters.
This is such a broad. Like once they put like the Joker and Spider-Man in the same category,
Yeah.
it's like
yeah, but they're
okay.
all tricksters. It makes sense.
Okay. I mean, Loki, like MCU Loki, is pretty fun.
Yeah.
He's good.
I do like that.
I do like me some Bugs Bunny.
Yeah.
Sure. I actually just went and saw the new
Yeah,
Looney Tunes movie.
I was gonna
How
ask you
was
about
that?
it. Yeah.
I liked it. I thought it was good. I thought it looked really nice. There was a dude sitting behind me. He must have loved this movie. I don't know if I've laughed harder at anything in my life than this guy was laughing at Looney Tunes.
Great.
Like,
yeah.
I can only assume when I was trying to think of like a headcanon of who this guy is, this guy loves cartoons more than anything. He loves Looney Tunes. And some of the jokes in there, like he was like dying. Like I looked over at my friends like, what is happening right now? So I'm glad for him. He had such a great time.
Good
I
for
wish
him.
I was having that good of a time, but I did think it was still pretty enjoyable.
Yeah, good for him. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean Bugs Bunny is good for sure. Yeah. I mean, who's not going to like Spider-Man?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know who Sun Wukong is.
That'd be who Goku's based off
It's
of.
the Monkey
Think
King.
Oh,
Black
okay.
Myth Wukong.
Yeah.
Okay. Columbo's pretty good up there. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
I'll
all
throw
of
Nathan
them-
Drake in there too. Why not?
All of them are pretty good. Yeah, that's a good lineup.
Is Nathan Drake counts? Isn't he just like charismatic?
He's a snarky guy, but he definitely like tricks like his like thieving rivals and stuff like that with like false clues and stuff like that. Sleight of
Okay.
hand and everything like that. I'd say he counts as a trickster.
I think this definition is so broad now.
If Spider-Man counts as a trickster, I think Nathan Drake counts as a trickster.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like, has your character ever smirked once? They're a trickster. In which case,
I
my
think
answer...
it leads like some either like physical sleight of hand, like Bugs Bunny, or like some mental sleight of hand, like Columbo or something like that. So
Can I just say Steve Martin?
You could just say
Yeah.
Steve Martin.
Yep.
Okay. Or Robin Williams.
Yeah, there you go. That's some good choices.
It's Robin Williams. By far.
Okay, that's going to do it for questions. Thanks, everyone, for writing in. topdownperspective@gmail.com, at TDP Podcast on Blue Sky, the Discord channel, John's P.O. Box. What is your game of the week?
Monster Hunter Wilds.
Death Stranding, I guess.
Okay.
Nice.
If I have to.
I couldn't think of anything else I played this week.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it to Clair Obscur.
Nice.
And with that, we'll be back next week. Thanks, everyone, for listening. We'll see you then.
Everybody.
Bye.